All right. Is the screen visible to all? So, according to the roadmap, today what we are having for the third week, we have to build a simple authentication API using JWT. Now, you people, let us see how many of you do know about JWT. Tell me how many of you know what JWT is. You can write it in the chat box as well. JSON Web Token. All right, Siddharth. So, why do we use this JSON Web Token? Why do we use it? For authentication. Provide secure way to authenticate users to authenticate. All right. So many of you have a quite idea about what the JWT is. So now, before proceeding with our code, just create a folder and then open it in Visual Studio Code. Open the terminal and write this command over there. So these are the dependencies that we will be using in order to create our authentication API. So these dependencies are, we will use Express, we will use Mongoose in order to connect MongoDB with our Node.js. Then we will use the bcrypt.js in order to hash our password. Then we will use the JSON Web Token, and then we will use the .env in order to store our environment variables. Then we will use the CORS, that is cross origin resource sharing, and then we will use the body parser. All right. Just do this much and inform me if you have completed in the chat box. So it is 5-3. I will ask you people on 5-6. Not 5-6. Say 5-10. Let's give you 5 minutes in order to do all these things. I want all of you to complete this much of task till 5-10. Yeah, Gurmeet, it will show this only. Sorry, Kunal. Gurmeet, just open the folder and at first you have to write npm inity and then you have to write this command. So after installing all the required dependencies that I have provided to you people, make sure that your file structure looks like this. Firstly, this is your root file, that is week 3. Inside that, you have to create a folder that is models. Just let me show you people. See, I have also provided to you in the chat box as well as it is provided here as well. This week 3 is my root file. Inside that I have created a folder that is models, and inside that I have made a file user.js. And then you have to create another folder naming routes, and then you have to create another file auth route. Inside that you have to create a .env file and then another file that is server.js. I hope you people understood. Write yes in chat box if you understood and start creating these file structures. Okay. So until you make these file directories, let me tell you what all things do we have to place in these respective files. So inside the model, inside the user.js file, what we will store? We will store the mongoose schema. In the very previous class, I have told you people that we do not need to write a complete command like we do in usual MySQL in order to create or insert values of data. In MongoDB, what we simply do, we create schemas in order to store our data or to create the fields for taking the data from the user. And this routes, we will write our codes in order to create the API for registration as well as for login. This will be the main file which will contain the logic of our API. And then coming on to the server.js, this file is the entry point of our backend. Without this file, none of our codes will execute. And this .env file will contain our environment variables. And now what do you mean by environment variables? So environment variables, which means our port, our MongoDB URI, our JWT secret key, and many other things which are confidential data which we do not show other users, right? So those data we put in the .env file. And then this package.json. Inside this package.json, we have our dependencies which are mentioned that we that we have installed. And then inside the package log.json, those data will be contained, of which we have the updated version. Am I clear to all of you? Okay. So just quickly create this file structure and then we will proceed with our code. And those who have already completed the file structure, reply with a okay. All right. Okay. So many of you have completed the file structure. So let's begin with our code. So what I did, I have already placed my confidential data, that is my MongoDB URI, the JWT secret key as well as the port number in my .env file. So make sure that you people have your MongoDB URI, and tell me how many of you have your MongoDB URI. Reply with me. Okay, all right. Just two of you. Okay, Geeta has, right? Okay. So there are no issues. Then we can proceed. So here we are with our server.js. So in order to use the data that we have placed in our .env file, we have to use require .env, and then we will write a function that is config. Without this line, we will not be able to use all those data that we have stored in our .env file. After that, we will import our express, that is const express is equal to require express. So as I have already told you people, or I don't remember if I have told you people or not, there are two methods of importing the dependencies. What are they? Methods for importing dependencies. Those are, first one is require and the second one is import. And if you want to use the second one, what you have to do is go to package.json and above this script just write type and then see over here you are getting a module option, right? So if you provide this, okay, so if you provide the module, there what you have to use, there you have to use import keyword. So I'm not using module over here, which is why I will write require. Understood? Import and require. Okay, Suresh. Let's go back to our server.js. So here we have imported our imported our express dependency, and then we will import const mongoose is equal to require mongoose. After importing the mongoose, we will also import const course is equal to require course. And this course dependency is used to send requests from one origin to another origin. So what do you mean by sending request from one origin to another origin? Say for example, you are at computer A and the server is at computer B. So until and unless the server allows you, please switch off your mic. So until and unless the server allows you, Gayatri, please switch your mic off. So until and unless the server allows you to send the request, you will not be able to send any of the requests to the server. So for that, we use the CORS, that is cross-origin resource sharing. Cross-origin resource sharing. After importing the CORS, I will also import body parser. Is equal to require body parser. And then we will use const app is equal to express. So what we did over here, we have assigned the express to the app variable. So whenever we have to work with the express, what we will write? We will write app instead of this complete express. And for using the CORS, we have to use app dot use. Inside use, we have to write CORS. And then we will also use app dot use body parser dot JSON. So what this body parser does, it converts the data from string to data in JSON format. Whichever data that we provide to the backend, that will be in the form of strings, right? So in order to convert that data from string to the JSON format, we use this body parser to convert data in JSON format. That is value or I can also say as field and value. See, whichever things I am commenting out are for your information. Those are not necessarily required to be there in your code. And then over here, what I will do, I will write the code to connect MongoDB to our Node.js, right? So in order to connect our MongoDB to the Node.js, we will use the Mongoose dependency. So for that, I will write mongoose dot connect, and my first parameter will be my Mongo URI. So in order to use the Mongo URI that I have stored in my .env file, in order to access the Mongo URI, I will write process .env .mongo URI. This is my very first parameter of the connect function. After that, I will initiate a bracket. Inside that, I will write two keywords, that is use new URL parser, which I will make as true, and another keyword will be use unified topology. This will also be true. So this is what I have created the objects. After that, I will write console.log connected to MongoDB, or you can write MongoDB connected. DB connected. So if my MongoDB gets connected, we will get MongoDB connected in the console. So this is how we connect our MongoDB to our Node.js. And then I will write const port is equal to, I have also mentioned my port number in my .env file. So for that I will write process.env.port. Or if it does not read the port number from the env file, I can also write as 5000 as my port number. And then finally, while I'm creating the server, I want my server to listen all these things that I am providing to the server. So for that, I will use the function that is app.listen. Within that, my first parameter is going to be the port number. And then I will print in my console console.log. So within a backtick, I will write server running on port, and then I will mention the port number. So this is what I have created, the server.js, that is the very entry point for my backend API. I hope you people have written till here. And are there any doubts that you want me to clarify? Are there any doubts? Okay, Virendra does not have any doubt. All right. So let's run this. So I want you people to also install one thing, that is npm install nodemon. Yeah, nodemon is there. So in order to run the backend, we have to write nodemon server.js. Okay, before that we will save our file. That is, I'll save the server.js and I'll also save my .env file. And I'll run it again. Nodemon server.js. See, MongoDB is connected and the server is running on port 5000. Are you people getting the same output? It helps to automatically restart again and again server, right? Yes, yes. Okay, Sajna is getting the same output. How many of you? Yeah, Kunal, Siddharth. Screen is not visible. Is the screen visible now? Okay. All right. So this is what we have done. We have created our server and then we created the MongoDB to our Node.js. After that, what we will do, we will go to the user.js and here we will create our MongoDB schema. So for that, I will use const. First of all, let's write creating a MongoDB schema. Using mongoose. I will declare a variable that is mongoose is equal to, and then I will import my mongoose library. After that, I will declare another variable, that is const user schema is equal to new mongoose dot schema. So the schema function is used to create mongoose schema. Inside that, I will write name, and my name will be of type string. And then the name will be the mandatory field. So for that, I will write required over here. And I will make it true. After that, I will also take email field from the user. And this will also be the type string. And then it will also be a mandatory field. After that, what else do we need for login as well as registration? Tell me. First will be the email, and second is going to be our, sorry, server running on 4 minutes. MongoDB cluster. One common reason is that you are trying to access the database from the IP. That isn't. The current IP address is not whitelisted in the MongoDB password. Okay, the second will be our password. And my password is also going to be the type of string. And then it is also necessary. So for that, I will write true. And finally, I will provide the role of the user. Then I will write the type as string. After that, I will write a enum will be user or admin. Admin. So we use this enum variable in order to make it clear that the user can put any one of these two values. He just cannot put any other value except these two values. So for that purpose, we use the enum. So here we can say that the user can be the user or the user can be the admin. Hence, the user cannot be anything else except the user or the admin. And by default, we will set the user as user. Default will be user. So this is how our database schema is going to be. So whenever we will be testing our API, for that inside the body, what all those things that we have to provide? We have to provide our name, email, password as well as role while we are registering. And when we are logging in, we have to just provide our email as well as password. And all four of them will be stored in our MongoDB. Got it? Okay. And finally, what we have to do, we will export this module dot exports is equal to mongoose dot model user comma user schema, and then I will save it. And now finally moving to our auth where our where the very important logic of our code, that is the authentication API, will exist. So for that we need to import const express is equal to require express, and we also need to import const decrypt is equal to require decrypt.js, and then const jwt is equal to require JSON web token. Const user. So over here, what I will do, I will import my user.js from require models, and from the models, I will import user, and const router is equal to express dot router, and this router again is the function of the express. Now I will write, or I will create the API for registration. Register. For that, we have to provide the fields in the body, right? So tell me which HTTP request this user.js for input from user, right? Yes, Ayush. And can you talk about Mongo URI means how to copy, because my MongoDB is not working. It is showing it. So Prince, just okay, let me show you. Go to your MongoDB Atlas. MongoDB Atlas. And click on get started. So for that, you have to provide all these data, or else you can also sign up with Google. Do you people know what this thing is called? Ayush, you will be able to see something like this. Are you able to see this? Oh, sorry, Prince. Prince, are you able to see what did I do? Cloud storage. Just see. Okay. So over there, you have to create a cluster. Click on this create a cluster, and here you will get some of the data, and you have to choose the specific region over there, and then you will get your final Mongo URI that you have to copy, and it will show you over here. Okay, except Prince, I mean, all of you do have your Mongo URI, right? Hello, am I audible? Where to put URI? So Rishikesh, create a .env file that I have created over here like this, just go to this icon and over here just write .env. That's it. You will get your env file. Got it, Rishikesh? Can I provide my MongoDB app URI as Mongo URI? Prince, just do one thing. After the class ends, go to YouTube and search how do I get my Mongo URI. No, Rishikesh, those are my confidential data, right? Neither me nor you people should make it available to anybody else. Neither you should upload it in your GitHub profile. So, which is why it is recommended to place your .env file in the git ignore file. Got it, Rishikesh? Those are not the codes. Those are just my confidential data that I have stored in my variables. So after importing all these things, let me create the API for registering the user. So I forgot to ask you people. Tell me what HTTP request shall I mention in order to provide some data to my server? Post request. Okay. So let's write router dot post, and inside the post the first parameter will be our API endpoint, that is register, which will be followed by an asynchronous function. Tell me, what do people mean by an asynchronous function? Come on, write it fast in the chat box. Okay, request and response. The request and response are the parameters of asynchronous function, right? Promise. And while using an asynchronous function, which keyword do we write? There's a keyword that should be present inside the async. Yeah, await. Await is the keyword. All right. So inside the asynchronous function, I will provide request as well as a response. And this asynchronous function has to be an arrow function. Inside that, I will mention a try catch block. Inside the try block, I will take variable names, that is name, email, password, and role. And all these data I will gain from where? I will gain from the body, right? So this will send a request to the body. So for that we are raising request.body. After taking the request from the body, what is the first thing that we will do? We will check if the user already exists. Requesting requesting for the data from the user in the body. In the body. And tell me, how can we check if the user already exists? The use The user might have provided its data already in order to make his existence. So which data of the user would he had been provided? What do you think? Come on, do tell. Yeah, the user might have provided his email. So in order to check the existence of the user, we have to check if the email is already present over there. So for that, we will use let user is equal to await user dot find one, and inside this function we will mention the field, that is email. And from the name of this function, that is find one, this function is used to find any one of the fields that is present in our database. And then the condition is user exists, then return res dot status 400. Then with a JSON message is that the user already exists. So if the email of the provided email of the user matches the email that is already existing in the database, then it will throw the error with the status code 400, and then it will provide the message that is the user already exists. And then what we will do? We will hash the password of the user. Hash the password provided by the user. For hashing the password, we will need a value, that is await bcrypt dot gensalt, and the value of the gensalt will be 10. So this salt value, how is it helpful? I am writing over here. The more the salt value be, the more will be the strong hashing of the password of the password. So in order to use the salt value, that is 10, we have to use the method that is gensalt, and this gensalt method lies inside the bcrypt. Am I clear to all of you? Or are there any doubts? Ma'am, can we use the const user is equal to await except let user? Yeah, we can use const user is equal to await. You people have any doubt regarding the gensalt method? Repeat, ma'am, gensalt. Okay, see, when the user is providing the password, so that password will not say, for example, I am providing the password as, like, I have provided my email as abcdef @gmail.com. So I have provided my email in this way, and then I will provide my password, that is 12345678 9. So this is what my password is. So when we are providing our email as well as password in the front end in this format, in the backend, it will store it as email abcdef@gmail.com, and the it will store the hashed password, that is password like #@1234 and then star bracket plus, not plus, or you may also say dollar, and then and star this @ I have, then this one. So our password will get stored in this way. This is how our password gets stored in the backend. This is what we call hashing the password. Instead of storing the actual password, it will get stored in this way. So to make our password store in this way, we write this complete code. So the GenSalt value should be less than 15. Mind it. Or I will use over here. The GenSalt value should be less than 15. Did I make my point clear to you, Geeta? Ma'am, what about the project task you have given us? I mean, do we have to complete at individual level or group level? Okay, so Geeta, it is clear to you, right? Sumit, you have to complete the project in the group level, dear. Okay. So after providing the salt value, what we will do? We will hash the provided password. So for that, I will declare a variable that is const hashed password is equal to decrypt, or say await decrypt dot hash, and then I will write password comma salt. So this is what we are doing. We are hashing the password. So here is an alternative for this password hashing. Alternative. That is, instead of writing this, you can also write it as const hashed password is equal to await, then bcrypt dot hash, then password, comma. You can directly mention the salt value. Instead of writing this const salt is equal to await bcrypt.gensalt and then the value 10, you can simply write it as password comma 10. But this is the most desired thing inside the code that you have to write. So this is not the much practiced thing. Not much practiced. But still the code will work. Right? So till here what we did, we have made our salt value and then we have hashed our password, and then I'll make user is equal to new user followed by name, email, and in order to store the hashed password, we will assign the hashed password value to the password variable. So since it's an object, since we are creating the object, the value and the field and the value should be separated by a colon. And finally, after the password, we will store the role. And then we will save the data using the save function. Await user dot save. And then if this thing finally happens successfully, we will respond with a status code 201 and then with a JSON message that is user registered successfully. So this is how we register our user. Any doubts till here? Reply with a yes or no. Okay. So in a website, after registering us using the sign in, what we do? After sign in, what do we do? Login, right? Ma'am, how you remember all those things? I forgot these after some time. See, as you make or develop more and more APIs or the backend or logics, things will get automatically sticked in your mind. See, if, say for instance, this logic that is mongoose.connect and this complete thing, we can place it in another folder. That is, let's say if I make config folder and inside this folder I'll make db.js and inside this folder also I can place my this entire logic in order to connect the MongoDB with my Node.js. But what did I do? I have written this logic over here only. So both things will work. And if you are placing the code in this file, so for that you have to import this file in the server. Got it? So till here we have registered our user. And if there occurs any error, so for that it will respond with a status code rest.status 500 with a JSON message so the message will be error.message or it will not be inside the strings. Got it? Error.message. Since it is error over here, so we have to write error.message. And then we will create the logic for the login. So for login also, we do provide some data in our body, right? So for that, I will use router dot post. Then I'll specify my API endpoint, that is login. And then it will be followed with an asynchronous function with request, comma, response. And this has to be an arrow function. After that, I will place a try catch block and inside the try catch block, and I'll again check if the user already exists. Check if the user already exists. And one more thing from which you can remember the steps in order to create the API is just remember these comments. I'm not saying to memorize these comments. I'm just saying you people that what should we do after doing what. Say for example, inside the try catch block, the very first thing that you have to do is you have to declare all the parameters that you have to take from the user, that is name, email, password, and role. This is the very first thing while registering the user. Then the second thing is we will check it if the user already exists. So for that we will use a couple of functions, that is find one, and then in order to find the email we will use the function find one, and we will check it using the if condition. So this is the second thing that we will do. For the third thing we will declare the salt, and for the last or you may also say the step before the last step is we will hash the password. So these are four things. Now coming on, we will create a new user using the new keyword, and then finally we will save the user. Now while logging in, we will again check if the user already exists using the same logic, that const user is equal to await user dot find one. Inside this will place my email, and then I'll place an if condition. If not user check user. So while logging in, we have to see if the user is present, if the user has already registered, and if the user has not if the user has already registered, his email should be there in the database. Am I making some sense over here? Just tell me. Gurmeet. See, we are using this in order to, ma'am, can I use MongoDB Compass? Yeah, sure, Kumar, you can use your MongoDB Compass. In fact, I am using that. Okay. So whenever we register in some website, our email and password get stored over there, right? So whenever we are logging in, that what it does, it compares our provided email with the already existing email in the database. Am I making sense? Reply with, ma'am, can I use clerk API? You use whatever thing you want to use, right? And just tell me if you people are clear with whatever I am teaching right now. Okay. So for that, it will compare the already existing email with the provided email by the user. So if not user, which means if the email is not present in the database, then it will respond with the status code, that is res dot status code 400, as well as followed by a JSON message, and the message will be invalid credential. So when it will show? It will show when the email or password with the provided email password of the user, the match with the existing email or password present in the database. So in order to validate the password, what we will use? Validate password. RD. We will declare a variable const is match and then await bcrypt dot. In order to compare the password, we will use the compare function. After that, we will provide the parameter password, and then this password is which one, which is already existing in our database, and we will compare it with the user dot password, and this password is provided by the user while logging in. If is match, this means that if the password does not match, then it will respond with the status code res.status 400 with a JSON message invalid credential. And after login, I want to generate a token. So in order to generate a JWT token, I will declare a variable, that is const token is equal to JWT dot sign. So this sign function will have ID with user ID, user dot ID, and over here you remember, right? We have declared a JWT secret key in our .env file. So here we will use our JWT secret key. And then after writing our user ID, I will also write my role as user dot role dot role. After that, process dot env dot JWT secret. Okay. So we will place this JWT secret key outside the bracket, comma. So this one is the second parameter. The first parameter will be the ID, and the second ID as well as the role, and the second parameter will be our JWT secret. And now moving on to the third parameter, which one is the very essential parameter, that is expires in. And this will be inside the curly braces since it's an object. So Did you ever see that how to get JWT secret key? See, you can place any kind of secret key in JWT. Say, for example, I am writing JWT underscore secret as it can be any random string. A, B, C, D. It is your JWT secret. So for generating the token only, we are writing this code. So did you ever see when you visit a website and you don't close it, okay, and then after some time you what you do, you visit that website again. So over there it shows something like session expired, or whenever in Instagram also it sometimes shows that the session is expired. What you have to do then, you have to permanent login until token will expire. Yeah, so what you have to do after that, you have to log in again, right, when the session gets expired. So for that purpose, so what actually happens over there, the token gets expired. So here the time limit is 1 hour that I have provided for expiration of the token. Or if you do not want your token to get expired, for that you can use ignore expiration keyword keyword if you do not want your token to get expired. So the main thing that we can use in order to prevent our token from getting expired is ignore expiration keyword. After that, we will use res.json, and then within the JSON, we will create token. So this is how we create our token. Got it? And we have created our token. And if some error occurs, it will respond with the status code res.json, res.status 400 or say 500 dot json, and then message will be error error dot message. So this is what our logging in was. We will provide our email, and if the email does not match with the existing email in the database, it will provide invalid credential, and if the password does not match, then also it will provide invalid credential. And how it will compare the password, it will take two parameters, that is the password that is initially stored in the database with the password that the user has provided in the body, and it will use the compare method. And then we will create a middleware for the authentication. Here is the middleware. Function authenticate token. And this will take three parameters: request, response, and next. Const token is equal to request dot header authorization authorization, and then If not token, return res.status 401 with a JSON message that is access denied. Then we will place a try catch block. After that, I'll write const verified is equal to jwt dot verify, and then here lies the most important part, that is token dot split and then inside the array I will write 1. I will tell you the reason as well. And then process dot env dot jwt secret. After that, I will request user is equal to verified. Then I will write next. See, the token is of the type, say for example, token will be, first one we will be the bearer keyword followed by the token. Say for the token is this one. So this is how our token looks like. So this entire thing gets stored in an array. This entire token gets stored in an array. And all of us know that array has indexing, right? So what will happen? At first, what did we do? We split our entire token into two parts. That is, the first part is the bearer keyword and the second part is the actual token. So in order to split it, we use the split function, and then it will be the then bearer keyword will have the index value 0, and the token will have the index value 1. So are you being able to understand why did we write 1 inside the array? In order to take the token as the input. And then the second one will be the JWT secret. Am I making sense? Is it clear to you people? Repeat this. Okay. If any error occurs, it will provide with the status, that is res dot status 400 with a JSON message. Invalid token. After that, writing this function, I will provide a protected route. the protected route. So in order to create a route, I will use router dot get. The API endpoint will be protected, followed by authenticate token, and then request and response function. Response. Rest.json. The message will be this is a protected route. Protected route, and then it will provide the user. Will be request.user. User. That's it. And then finally, what we will do? We will export the module. Export the module. For that, we will write module dot exports is equal. Did you write this entire thing? Are there any doubts till here? Hello, am I audible? Okay. What we have to do is we will go back to our server.js. Over here, what we will do, we will import our auth routes. Const auth routes is equal to require from the routes. I will get auth routes, and then I will use app.use with the endpoint API auth, and then auth routes, and I will save my server. I'll open the terminal, and then node1 server.js. So it is connected to the MongoDB. I'll open my Postman. I'll close it, and then I will again create. So I'll put the method as post, and then I will write HTTP localhost will be 5000 followed by API auth register. I'll go to the body. I will write binary. Yeah, raw. Here I will provide the data. That is name will be Geeta. What else did I add in my MongoDB schema? Email, password, and role. Email will be Geeta @ Geeta123 @gmail.com, and I will put the password as Geeta, and finally the role should be admin. I'll send it. See, we are getting the message that is user registered successfully. I'll open my MongoDB Compass. See, are you being able to see the hashed password? Voice is breaking. Are you able to see the hashed password? See, this is how the hashing of the password takes place. I told you na the backend does not save the actual password. Instead, it saves the hashed password. Right? Okay. So, in order to log in, I'll remove both of these. That is the name, and then and also I will change the endpoint with login. Send. Message. Email is not defined. It should have the API endpoint, right? Login. Email is not defined. How is it not defined? Let's say we'll provide the endpoint as protected, and I will make the get request. Access denied. See, why is it saying access denied? Let's make another post request in order to register another user. Having the data, name, Siddharth, email will be Siddhartha or @gmail.com. Password word will be SIDDHARTH Siddharth 1234. And then let's say the role is user. Then I will use protected. Or let's log in. We will see why is it causing the error in the next class. So are there any doubts still here? Are there any doubts still here regarding the code? You share the recording session. You will get the recording in the YouTube here after the session gets over. For the user.js, right? This is where the user.js lies. And please explain process.email JWT secret. So this JWT secret key is nothing, but it is used to create our token. All right. So whenever we have to create any kind of token over there, we have to use our JWT secret key. Protected part I have to explain, right? See, although it's not working, I will see what is the problem over there. So here, what I have provided the API endpoint as protected, and then it will take the authenticate token function that we have declared over here as its second parameters. Not here, but here it has taken as the second parameter, and the third is the function. And if when we will provide the protected, we also have to provide the token that will get generated. So whenever we will try to log in, a token gets generated over there. So we have to do what? We have to place that token in this authorization, or go to headers, and over here we will place bearer. Okay. Bearer token and see. I have told you people now this will be the token and this is the actual token that will get generated when we will log in. And even though it's not working now, I will see what is the problem in the next class and I'll tell you it in the next class. And if we will press the send button, then we will get this message. That is, this is a protected route and then user will be the required user. Last two session recordings are not uploaded on YouTube. The support team will upload it, don't worry. All code is available on Git. Not all the codes, but many of them are available on GitHub. Except these things, are you left with any other doubt? Okay. And say if you want to delete these things, so just simply go the body, select the delete, and then write, select this ID, copy. Let's refresh it. Okay, so that is also there. Cannot delete. So we did not make any route to delete using the ID, right? So in the next class, we will develop APIs in order to delete as well as update the provided data. And also we will learn the role-based authorization. Got it? Okay. So if there are no any doubts, we can leave the meeting here. Any doubts? I hope there are no doubts left with you people. Okay.